Hello, hello, hello. Are we ready for tonight? I am excited as you all come in from whatever page you're on. Just let us know you're here. Say hey to us, say hi to us as we begin with everybody that's here tonight. So as you saw, we have the divine, the wonderful Miss Erin Jones. Hey, Erin.
Hey.
We have Miss Brittany Barton with the cuffs. Yes, we talking about yes. Hello, Brittany. We also have Sheila Beavers, and as we said, baby, she will bring it to you straight. Don't even worry about it. You gonna get all of it. And we have our wonderful, wonderful Margie Miller, who is pinch hitting for us, but she meets all the requirements as the other speaker. And trust me, she got all the tea. We are excited about it, okay? And then we have our wonderful, wonderful Tamara Hall that's with us. Yay!
Hey.
And don't be fooled. You need to make sure you're listening to what she has to say. Yes, that's what we want you to do. So today we're gonna, hey Joyce Barton, I see you on here. All right. On Facebook, you don't see your name. I see Glenda Barnes is on here. Everybody's excited as you come in. Just say hey. Share it to your pages. If you're on here, especially if you're on our connected page, you can share out from that page to your own personal pages or any other thing that you're in. You can't share out from woman to woman, but if you go into connect up, you can share out from that page to your page, and so others can see it as well. So take your time, go ahead and share. I think I did all the sharing I can do, and get some people to join in with us. Again, if you need to, I usually have my tablet beside me, my phone beside me. I do have my phone beside me, so I can go in to other pages and share out to my page. So you guys go ahead and do that. Do that as we get started and give people time to share and get on the page. As you come in, say hey to us. Sheila will be back in whenever her system goes down. She goes out and she comes back in, and it works. And it works. That's all we know.
I'm sorry.
That's all we know is that it works. So, ladies, if it happened to you, go out, come back in, and I will be sitting right here to let you back on the screen. As you guys come in, say hey to us. We're looking for you. We have the fabulous Erin, the cuff lady. Hey, Nyla, the cuff lady is on here. Brittany. We have Sheila, as we said before, and Miss Tam, and we have Margie. So we're gonna be talking about a lot of things today, mainly focusing on relationships. I shouldn't say a lot of things. Laterica, right, says, hey, ladies, I'll put it here so somebody may know, somebody don't know. There you go. Hey, girl. So we are glad to be here. I love talking about relationships anyway. It's one of my favorite things to do. And so we are glad to be here tonight with you guys, and we're just going to be sharing while we're talking. Feel free to make comments in the chat. I like to talk back. Yes, I do. You will find out I do. Hello, Jennifer. So I love to talk back. So be sure to share with us if you got statements to make, questions to ask as we go. If we can get to them, we definitely will. No problem on our end. We're just going to be free to talk and free to share. So I'll let each one of you, starting with Erin, who's right beside me, tell a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go around and we'll get this party started.
Well, I'm Erin Jones. I saw on the intro that I might need to say something about being a therapist. I'm a licensed clinical social worker.
Yes.
I love talking about relationships of all kinds, whether it's romantic relationships, family relationships, all of the things. I am single, never been married, mother of one extremely awesome daughter. And I'm excited just to share with the other ladies, get insight from my own life and my own journey, and just talk about some of my experiences. And just to let talking about, like I'm 42 and I've never been married. And,
Right.
All of the stigma that comes along with that, all of the talk that comes along with that and that kind of thing. And like really being okay with the fact that if your life kind of takes a different direction than the normal timetable of everybody else, Like
Right.
really being at peace with that, because that's not something I've always been, at peace with or whatever.
Right.
So I'm looking forward, just to talking and hearing more from the vets in the game of marriage.
Sheila.
Yeah, right. The vet. You hear me? Also mother of one amazing daughter too. So yeah, so I'm excited to hear what everybody's gonna bring tonight.
Right. Thank you. Brittany Barton.
Yes, I am Brittany Barton. I am pushing 40. I ain't gonna say my exact age, but I'm pushing 40. I do have 4 children. I have 3 girls and 1 boy. Um, and I'm here tonight to give, just my insight and my experience, these 30 some odd years. And right now I can say, I just put myself back out there into the dating cesspool and it is contaminated. So that's what I'm here to talk about tonight. And, or and just to hear about your long marriages and how you made it work and what didn't work and all that stuff. So I'm excited and thank you for having me on your panel.
Yes, thank you. I'm gonna Sheila. Let's just go to Sheila.
Well, I am Sheila Beavers, and let's just right off the bat, I've been married for 40 years. We'll be in October. So,
Yes.
and we have one daughter. I'm a pastor, and I love God. And being married that long is not easy. Let me just say that. And it is much sacrifice
Hmm.
on both parts.
Right.
So that's all I'm gonna say right now.
Okay. Okay. Tam.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's go.
So I am Tamara, aka Tam. Mostly everybody knows me by Tam. I'm 35. Me and my husband Ahmad have been married going on 6 years in September, and we have a blended family. He is a worship pastor, so being married to someone in the ministry that's can sometimes be a little difficult.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Miss Margie.
Okay, hi ladies, everybody. I
Hello.
am Margie
Hello.
Cooper. I have 4 children, all grown and gone. Thank you, Jesus. I have 8 beautiful grandbabies, and I am an evangelist as well as a teacher. I teach 4th grade. Absolutely love it. Um, this is my 4th year. Sorry, my 4th year teaching 4th grade, and I'm also venturing out. I'm now a spiritual life coach with an emphasis on positive affirmation. So that's me.
Good, good, good. Because you just started that, so we're not here for that. Because you get me talking about all that. Now I'm talking about all that. So we're gonna come over to me. I am Tammy Gabrielle, your host for tonight, and I've been married 34 years. To the same wonderful man. Yeah, he is so awesome. Yeah. So we've been married, and we have 2 biological sons, but we also have other young men that are their family to us that have come through and live with us. And so we have loved that. And I have grandchildren, but I don't have as many as Margie. So I'm a granny as well. My husband's in the ministry like him, so I can definitely identify with that. And Brittany, somebody talked about you saying the cesspool. I hadn't had to live with the cesspool, but and I am thankful for it. I got married early, probably more along the lines of what Sheila did. So, and I'm all things relational. That's just what I love to talk about. That's who I am, and that's what I enjoy the most. And I've been, we're just blessed in that area. So I enjoy that. I mean, everything is perfect, but that's the area that I love to dibble and dabble in. Okay, so let's get this thing started. One of the things I wanted to we talked about redlining, so we're going to start there, and we're going to make our way through this panel as quickly as good as we can, like overlooking anything that might need to be said. Um, but talking about, we know what redlining is in our real world, that they biased against certain people that live in certain areas, and it was hard for us to get properties. And even now, sometimes the rates that we get and things like that are not what everybody else gets, and that's based on a bias of because of who we are, or the color of our skin. It doesn't have anything. Washington says hello, in case one of you ladies know
Hey,
who that is. Hey
girl.
girl,
I
she
do.
said, hey girl. And so so I wanted to talk about that because I think that's something that we do. I'm bringing it over to the relationship side, as in how we redline sometimes in our relationships, and sometimes it does cause problems. And I wanted to share, now since I'm excited, I wanted to share that I know when Mr. B, Chris, and I started dating, um unbeknownst to me, I was redlining, meaning I wasn't giving him everything that he deserved or could have based on my opinion of what I thought men were, meaning they were
Mm,
no good and they were going to hurt me. And I wasn't open to the relationship from that standpoint. I only got there because we kind of snuck in the back door because neither one of us really were open to it. So that made us comfortable with each other because he wasn't wanting marriage, I wasn't wanting marriage. Oh, this is the perfect match, we good, and so that allowed me and him to basically let our guards down and really get to know one another, which led to where we are now. But one of my red line things, and I think a lot of us have it, is we are putting the brakes on some of the men that we meet because of what we've heard, what we've been told, sometimes what we saw, but that doesn't mean you're going to get the same thing from that person. And so and now this is the funny part, and I don't know if anybody can, but even after we got married, um, I still was redlining based on what I knew. I still wasn't
mm,
giving him, even after the marriage, I was not giving him all of me because I was afraid of what even after marriage, I was not giving him all of me because I was afraid of what he might do with that. So this is
yes.
not just a single thing. We take this into our relationships. So I don't know if anybody else can identify with that, or some things that um you guys may have been redlining on and saying, I thought it was right, but now I realize I'm jacked up about some things, some things I need to work on. And that's just, I'm going to start there and let y'all just kind of chime in with me.
Well, I
Absolutely. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no,
I'm
I
sorry.
was just,
Come
I was
on,
just
Fed.
gonna say, and we
Come on,
may be
Fed.
coming when she said life coach, I was like, oh, okay, girl. Because like I'm sure we're gonna be coming probably from the same perspective on a lot of things, but I don't think that how we were raised, what we experienced, and what we saw growing up
Mm,
definitely impacts like how we show up in relationships and our
Mm-hmm.
experiences. And
mhm.
so if you do have a childhood that did not see healthy relationships, and sometimes what you imagine in your head to be a healthy relationship, it's not really that. For example, if you came up in a home where there was a lot of arguing, and then you get in a
Right.
relationship and you think
Yeah.
everything's supposed to be perfect all the time, and that means healthy and that means happy, when the fact of the matter is, like, anybody that you love, you think of anybody that you love outside of a romantic space, y'all have gotten into it before. Like you've had an
Right.
argument, you've
Right.
had a disagreement. So sometimes, like those ideas, they follow us forever. Like how many times have you said, I'll never do that, especially something your mom did or something, and you're like, oh, I'll never do that. And then
And
you're
you
like,
do.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh, like it happens
Yeah.
because of that. And so I just wanted to, bring that part in for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And then some areas where you guys, I know that was my area, and it was hard for me to love because of what I had seen, and what I heard. Because I know women, and I know my mom and different ones would say, "Ain't no man no good," So you kind of carried that with you, for a long time. And so I don't know, Brittany, what are some areas that you may have felt you've redlined in?
Um, well, just to piggyback what y'all
Really?
were saying, then I'm gonna go into some of the areas that I've redlined in. I was just telling somebody today how we grew up. Okay, so normal, what we say is normal may not even be normal.
Right.
Like
Right.
Like the things, or going through life and then getting married, and or going to college and then getting married and having the kids, that's what we thought was normal or
Right.
traditional. Who's to say that's normal, you know?
Right.
And so anyways, but when you said that, growing up, what I saw and what was normal to me as an adult is easy for me to do, right?
Right.
So it's easy for me to mimic. It's easy for me to just think that that's how I'm supposed to live. That's how I'm supposed to date. That's how I'm
Right.
supposed to raise my kids.
Right.
But and it's harder to de- or to bring out the different things that you want.
Right.
Um so different things that I redline in, um the different love languages, right?
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
was immediate. If you didn't um show me the love language that I'm showing you,
Right.
then I would quick to end it. Like, we
Right.
have to end it. You're not giving me what I'm giving you. Um but I've learned that, and that's redlining. I've learned, okay, I'm not gonna redline. This is his love language, this is my love language. We have
Right.
got to come to a medium, and figure this thing out.
Right.
And
Right.
probably I'm still single now, but
Oh my goodness.
yeah. But that's one of the things that I've redlined.
Right. Right. Margie, you were finna say something. What was that?
Yes, I was just going to say, being married, okay, I was married for 11 of 13 years. And during that time, I had my own, going into my marriage, I had my own perception of what I thought marriage should be, what it looked like, you know. So when I didn't see that in my marriage, immediately I put my wall up, you know, because this is not working for me. You know,
Right.
I felt like I'm giving and I'm not receiving, you know, and because I was thinking that I had to receive
Hmm.
the same that I was giving, or
Right.
Right.
else it wasn't right for
Right.
me, you
Right.
know. And after my divorce, you know, I shied away from the whole thing of wanting to be in a relationship because that's not what I wanted. I didn't want to be married again after that.
Right.
And it wasn't until I met my husband, you know, and I went into this whole relationship thing again, that now I'm having to learn what marriage really is, you
Right.
know, how it is a give, you know, a give and take on both sides. And it's
Hmm.
not me doing everything, it's not him doing everything. We have to meet each other's needs, you
Hmm.
know. And I'm just learning all over again, you know, exactly what marriage really is. And
Hmm.
now that I have good role models that I can actually look at marriage and see, you know, what I need to be doing, how I should be doing, you know, this thing. It's helping me a lot. And I'm interested in hearing what Pastor Sheila has to say, because she's been in it for 40 years. I listen to Pastor Tammy because she's been in it over 30 years almost, right, Pastor Tammy? So
Yeah,
I
girl.
can learn a lot from them, you know. Would you say? Because this
Yeah.
is my
I was like,
second time.
I'm like, yeah, girl.
Yeah, and it's only
But
5 years for me. So I'm like a babe in this thing all over again. But
but I'm quick to say, with years for me, and you've heard me say this, quantity means nothing to me. It's
Mhm.
quality.
Yes,
I've seen marriages that have lasted for 30 years and then got divorced, or I've seen,
that's right.
they've been together for all this time, but it really never was working in the first place.
Yeah.
I have somebody that I'm talking to now, a young lady that's, been married for, I think, like 20 something years, and they're in the middle of divorce, but she talks about how she knew 10 years ago that this was done, but she stayed another 10 plus years.
Mhm.
And now it's like, what am I going to do? So for me, if I have anything to say to anybody, because I don't think there is, like Brittany was saying, there is no set. What works for me may not work for you. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
getting to know. But now when I was 'Cause I'm gonna let Sheila go because I'm finna jump on. When I was single, baby, I was living it up, boo. I was not studying about nobody's marriage. And I think sometimes, and Tam, we gotta come to Tam too, but sometimes we're so caught up in trying to get to the marriage that we're not enjoying the
Living.
space that we're in.
Yeah.
I love my
Mhm.
space, and I have loved marriage equally, but I enjoy them both. Go ahead, Sheila.
Well, I got married so young, guys, that that when somebody asks me my life story, I say, okay, I graduated high school in 1 year, I got married the next year, and I got had a baby in the next year. So that's my and so that's why I've been married for 40 years. But has it been it's been wonderful, but it's been wonderful as we grew together. I used to say that my husband always say thought. He didn't never say this, but when he tried to tell me something, I say, "You are not my daddy." We got married so young, but not that he was even trying to be. It's just that you go from your mama's house into a marriage, and then when another man tried to tell you, like, but he never tried to be that way. But
Be my daddy.
honestly, it's not, people say it's 50-50. No, it's not 50-50. It's both of you doing 150.
Right.
That's
And I
it.
tell you that it's not that you got to make sacrifices. And sometimes because women have so many different roles. If you begin to have children, it's like you got so many hats. You got to do this, you got to do this, you got to pull that hat, put that hat on, all those things. But if you want it to work, then you do that. You just do. And sometimes you might feel like, oh my God, I'm doing more than he is, but it's not the case. Because I remember early on, my husband has always been a provider too. And I mean, always provided. I've worked, but he always been the main provider. And I just do this and do that and do this and do that. But anyway, I just remember he would say, I would drive the bills around in my car like for week he had given me to pay, and I would just forget to just take it and drop it off at the post office or whatever. That was before paying online and stuff. But I would do that, and so a lot of women can't say that, but he's always been a provider, which caused me to go. I remember having this discussion with a group of ladies that had we was talking about how have you made your marriage last, and one girl said we both decided that we were not going to give up on the same day.
Mm.
Isn't that good? Because if
Mm-hmm.
we both had
That's really
decided we were going to
good.
give up on the same day, then we would be divorced. It's
Right.
just not that we're not having bad moments or bad days. It's just that we both decided if you having a bad day, I'm gonna encourage you, and if you're having a bad day, I'm gonna, if I'm having a bad day, he encourages me. So it's not that you don't. Oh my God, it's so many things that you go into marriage. And another thing is that my family in growing up, all the women, um I'm gonna say some was married and some was not.
She froze. She gotta go out and come back in. And I was wanting her not to freeze because I wanted to ask a question. What if we both having it out on the same day and we just ain't on the same terms and we both is just talking crazy? You don't went out and froze and I said, I didn't want you to freak. I had to ask a question. You know I did. And so I said, what if you like me, Chris Barton, and on the same day got dirty because we both got them strong personalities, them strong attitudes. And bruh, you need to step on over there. And he like, sister, you need to step on over there. She'll froze again. Yeah. Uh, she gotta go out and come back in. And there are times that that's gonna happen, but you still, I think the thing is that you learn to, even if you are both in that space at the same time, that we had to learn to say that divorce wasn't an option. We would figure out how to work through it. But although we were in that, just being honest, there were times that we were in that space because we were young too. But I want to get to Tam, I
Yeah.
want to get to you because you are still you're still in what we consider a early stage. You know what I'm saying, girl?
I
And
am.
so I
Mhm.
remember times when we would be talking to young. Well, they wouldn't be that, but I always think we so much older than everybody. I don't know why, but and so sometimes we say y'all in year one. Oh, y'all think it's time to get divorced yet? You know what I'm saying? Because all this stuff is happening in year one. And so we would peg what was happening in year one, two, three, four, five, whatever. They'd be like, how y'all know? Cause we've been there, done all that. You know
Right.
that.
Right.
So you're still young, and on
Right.
to me on the front end of this thing. So what's that like, girlfriend? How long did y'all date? All that kind of stuff.
Well, first let me say, my parents divorced when I was like maybe 3 or 4 years old. So for me, that painted this picture of I didn't want to get married. I didn't want to get married. And if I did get married, I wanted to make sure that I was able to stay in my marriage because I didn't want to raise a family and then have to split that family because that causes so much confusion, so much just unnecessary emotions that you don't necessarily know how to deal with as a child. And then you grow up as an adult and then you bring that into your relationship. So now that I'm married, all these emotions and things that I dealt with as a child, I'm having to figure out now that I'm married. And
Right.
so, and with my husband, his mother was never married. So neither one of us, I don't think, grew up with healthy marriages. And so it's just been a day to day thing. Um, we, been married almost 6 years, September.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Funny thing is, my aunt Beth, some of you may know her, she posted a picture of me on Facebook, and Amaya was kind of like, who's that? Like she's cute or whatever. And so that started that thing, and then we just became friends, and then the process of that, and then here we are, almost 10, 11 years later. And
Right.
I mean, it's we have good days and we have bad days, but I mean, everything of course with prayer, the grace of God. Trying to unlearn things of what you have learned from um growing up and things that you see on social media and TV and all those things. So we're trying to figure how to do things in the Hall's house and not everybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because
That's good.
everybody's
Yeah.
house, that's good because everybody's house is different. That's why I was saying we
Yes.
can't, it's not necessarily a blueprint. There are some things that you can carry, but I know, even as she was saying too, that marriage was not at the top of my list. It just wasn't. And so heard Aaron say sometimes dealing with the stigma of aging as a woman anyway. It ain't a
Mhm.
stigma for
Oh, for
men.
sure.
Cause it'd be like, oh no, don't you mad? Don't you let her tell you that? Whatever for men, but for women, it can become a stigma. It was just a thing that I never wanted it anyway. I did after the fact, but initially I did not want marriage. It just was not on the top of my list. So let's even talk about that some and how, and then I end up getting married young. Like this is crazy, but end up getting married young. But how do you deal with guys the stigma of um being not being married? Not only are you not married, having a child or so, and you're still not married, and he still ain't made his way into the picture. How did you just faint, baby girl? You got some water over there, bathroom with some water, and you still haven't. It just has not happened.
Look at that.
And from a woman's standpoint
Really?
of that you want it to happen, I'm gonna read this right quick and then we're gone. She says she's been married twice and divorced twice. I'm content with my life. Not sure I will ever get married again. So focus on ministry, helping girls and women. I think whatever space you're in,
Yeah.
if you're content with that, then go for it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But for me, like I said, if something would happen to Chris because I just seem to think he's my whole soulmate, I don't think I would want to marry again from that standpoint. Not because it's been
Right.
bad, because I don't think I can find somebody to replace the person I think is really my soulmate, whatever
Mhm.
and stuff. But I haven't had to deal with, we've dealt with other stigmas, but I haven't had to deal with the stigma of, here I am, I've had children, I'm in this space, but I'm not married, but I want to be. What does that
Mhm.
look like for you two ladies? Aaron mainly said it.
Okay. Well, for me, I grew up like in a different situation. My parents were married forever. When my mom died, I think they had been married or were going on like 33 years of marriage at that time, and that was 18 years ago. So that's what I knew was a two-parent home,
Right.
and that kind of thing. Now, it was not the perfect marriage.
Right.
I look at it now. I look at how I look at my parents' marriage at 24 versus 42, and I have a
Right.
totally different view on that because even though it was like we always equate something being good to being perfect. And
Yeah.
perfect,
Right.
even and most of us are church folks. So, but perfect means mature.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean without flaw, it doesn't mean without
Mhm.
blemish. It doesn't mean that. It means like mature.
Right.
So for my mom to navigate, my mom and my dad to navigate, my mom being so heavy in ministry, my dad not necessarily being in his own way, he was doing ministry. He don't see about you if you're in the hospital. He's gonna, bring you some chow chow and he's gonna do things. And they were both servants, but just my mom, I think, was a little more out front and the respect that he had for the call on her life. I think that just and how good of friends they were. When I think back on their marriage now, I don't think about like the crazy times because my dad, I've shared my dad was a functioning, alcoholic. My
Right.
my mother had been the child of an alcoholic. So again,
Right.
what Tam said, seeing what I saw and doing what I did and how did I get here and
Mm-hmm.
all those kind of things. But just the stigma of, like we are Southern, we are churched. And so marriage is kind of like a part of the package is, hearing people saying, oh, you're so cool and you're so attractive and you're so this. And I know all that. So imagine my surprise, that it
Right.
hasn't happened for me yet either.
Look, I'm in shock too. I'm
You
shocked.
know, a lot of things I'm humble about a lot, but I know I'm a good mother. I know I'm a good friend. I know all of those things. So understanding, about God's timing and having to really learn those lessons, those were things that were not always easy. And there have
Right.
been people that have made comments like this came back to me and oh, it hurt my feelings so bad because this was a woman I held kind of like in high regard.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, like her daughter ended up getting pregnant young, unmarried. And she was like, I just don't want her to be like Aaron. And I was like,
Wow.
the fact that I'm unmarried discounted everything else that I'm so
Everything else,
fired.
isn't that
Yeah.
amazing?
That's
Right. And but that's how inbred the stigma is. And
Yeah.
marriage is really for a lot of people, it's a status symbol. It's a
Right.
way to make unmarried people feel because sometimes they treat single people like a special population, and we are, don't get me wrong, but
Right. Right.
you know what I mean.
I know what you're
And
saying.
yeah, and then like what's wrong? So then you start to internalize and be like, well, what is wrong? But what I have come to learn is I have mostly all of my friends, cousins, people that I'm close to are married, but I also know that marriage ain't the cure to what's ailing us internally, and it's not going to fulfill you just like a whole lot of money or like whatever. So, I be thinking to myself because comparison can get in the way, and you can be like, no, wait,
Yeah.
now, you know, people will try to say, well, if you're this chaste and if you're this and you're just that and this and then there's an anomaly or a rule outside of that for everything. And something I want to definitely say to the singles out here too is watch who you follow, like on social media, who you consider to be real influencers. Like it's women on here that are influencers to me in my life, not just because they're on social media. They're influencers to
Right.
me in my life.
Right.
And so a lot of the things that we see as far as like those things that say I ain't finna teach no man how to, well, if his mama and daddy didn't teach him, then
Right.
who's gonna teach him?
Right.
Who's like we expect people to come to us like so perfect, and like
Right.
when you get to this place in life, people have been through so much, like
Yeah.
so much. Like I didn't realize like what kind of abandonment issues I had just from losing my mom at 24. Not that she left me on purpose, but she left. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just the same. So how that impacts me in relationships and different things like that. So I mean,
Yeah.
you have to really be strong in your mind not to fall for the okie doke, whether it be like with
Yeah.
guys, not to
Yeah.
fall for kind of like the bullying and the weirdness that other women kind of put off to you for not being married, or like, girl, you're just so I mean, hey, I know, but
Is
it'll happen.
it?
I still believe in love. I don't talk negatively, like what you were saying about quality. I'm going to have a marriage that is going to be everything that I want it to be. And
Right,
it's just like what is that, the parable of the talents? Some came in with this amount or whatever, but they all
right,
got paid the same in the end. That's what I
right,
believe from my life. And so
right.
I don't care. I know that that water murky out there, Brittany. I know it
I
is.
would.
You know what I'm saying? Super murky, but there is somebody and out there that is made for me that can deal with. Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm strong, but I can be a baby. Like sometimes I need to be nurtured. Like I'm definitely a crybaby. So I mean, all of those things, but he'll be able to meet me there, and I'm not
Absolutely.
letting my past experience in relationships. I'm not letting anything deter me from having the marriage that I
What it
want.
is, yeah.
That's just
And
it.
and I was gonna slip to Brittany because because one of her thing was she's back out there in that the contaminated water. She's put herself back out on
It's nasty.
the dating scene, and I have said on numerous occasions, baby, I ain't you know what? I'm gonna be
Oh.
like I wouldn't even know what I'm doing no more. Like I would be like, this is too much. Y'all would be like, just sit on down. We're gonna help you out because I just don't. I would be like just out of it because I think, and I'm gonna get to you, Brittany, too, but to hit on something that Erin said was that we think that the people that a lot of the younger generation I see thinks that when the man comes to her, he's gonna have everything lined up, or then she can't be with him. So that's another way that I see a lot of redlining is going on as well. If he doesn't already have a car, if he doesn't already have, I mean, not just a car, the car, if he doesn't already have the home, if he doesn't have all these things, then he can't be with me. And I'm looking like, what you got? Like what makes you think that you just and nobody there is no one that has it all together. And if
Correct.
we had came in with that attitude, we wouldn't have been able to build. What happened to us getting together and building together? I'm just kind of confused. Like, where did that mentality go that everything has already got to be completely lined up before I can even give you the time of day? And it's no more building together. Everything that we have, we built together. Had I looked the other way when he came and said, "Oh, he don't already have it," he was driving in a little white two-door Escort, a little bitty car like this, and sometimes he'd have to get my car to get to work, because his car. But had I walked away, we wouldn't have what we have now. You understand what I'm saying? But I do understand in Brittany's language, it's contaminated. So I'm gonna let her talk a little bit about her putting herself back out there in that cesspool.
Well, yeah,
And she
it's
fainted
funny.
a while ago, so I'm just saying, but I'm just saying we're gonna be all right. Come on, Brittany.
Uh, Let me tell you, listen. So I like the whole quality over quantity, and I love what you said, Aaron. Um, I am content with being single if that's what I'm gonna be for the rest of my life. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I have um four beautiful children that I'm going through this thing called life, right?
Right,
But and I was telling my aunt the other day, outside of their dads, because they're not that involved, my kids do a lot of things, do a lot of sports and all of that. When they're doing sports or doing just anything, I get that gut, that feeling in my gut. I'm like, oh my god, just excites me, and I want to share that with somebody.
right,
Want to share all of the things that even when in my career now I'm set. I always say I'm too old to start over, so I feel like I'm set in my career now. I want to share my success, my moments, all of that. I'm here by myself at the house now. I was here by myself for 2 days straight, and the four walls got all the conversation. So, I want to share moments, share my downs, share all of that with somebody. But if I'm going to
mhm,
be single for the rest of my life, I am content with that. The dating cesspool, you would not want to go out there today. And I say that because there's so many different avenues. You have social media, you have Tinder, you have
baby.
blackpeoplemeet.com, christianmingle.com. It's just so many different avenues that you get. um people out there with not the same intentions that you have, right? And
Right.
so y'all can start this conversation and end up 3, 4, 5 months down the line in this wasted time because people aren't upfront. People just don't have that same intentions, and it's so easy to get on the internet and look up somebody to match
Mm-hmm.
with somebody. What are you matching when you log in on Tinder and they ask you to do your profile? You say I'm black or white. I'm 5'4". I'm 120 pounds, or you cannot say that and be a totally different person. That's wording and match with somebody, and y'all are talking all day, but when I see you in person, that's not who you said you were. So it's
I don't mean to laugh, but okay.
it is. I mean, it's like that, and it's crazy out there. And I don't get out. I get out. I get out every now and then, but that's in my mind. That's not where you want to meet somebody. Like I may go to a lounge or whatever, but that's not what I'm there for. I'm there to vibe by myself and not there to meet people.
Mhm.
Um, so talking about a little bit about what Aaron said, or Auntie said, Gabrielle, excuse me, my bad, Gabrielle was talking about dating potential. And I posted this on my Facebook a while ago, and this girl said she absolutely does not date potential. And I was like, what does she mean? So I, listened more in depth about what she said. And at first I was like, okay, I get what you're saying. But when you say, when Auntie, when you said that, um, the guy is not gonna have, if the guy is already here, if he already has whatever you desire, this right here, you're gonna want to meet somebody that has room to grow, that wants to keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Striving for more.
Mhm.
He's not gonna have everything. What makes you so perfect that you have everything? You think you have everything or whatever. And so I absolutely don't think that you should not date potential. Y'all both have the potential to do more, be more, grow together, build together. Um, but yeah, just I mean, it's really hard. I'm not um being 30 plus. I already have my idea of what I'm looking for because of what I saw growing up.
Right.
I saw a good marriage growing up. My mom was never married, right?
Right. Right.
Um, my grandmother was married, and then you have to think about the different times. You got marriages that happened back in the day because they had to happen, you
Right.
know, and then marriages today that, or while you're older and you're seeing marriages that they wanted it to happen.
And
So
I'm gonna put you a pin right there because I'm coming back to that. Like
Uh,
there are marriages that happen because they had to, and then
right,
there are marriages that we wanted them to.
right,
And we're gonna come back to that because one of the things that I always say to Mr. B is that hey, when we were dating was that I don't want to be married to you because I've had children by you, or I want us to be because we want to be, whatever. But we're gonna put a pin right there because we have a special guest with us that's here with us for like maybe 15 minutes, and I'm gonna let her. I'm gonna pull us down and leave her up, and let her do her thing, and she'll be able to tell you guys who she is, and she's gonna do it 15, be about 15 minutes, and then we're gonna come back behind her and wrap this thing up. So I'm gonna pull us down, okay? Now y'all be patient. She already went down. Hold on. Okay, hey ma'am, how are you doing? You are on mute. I can't hear you. Okay. You don't see it? Mine is always at the bottom of my screen. I don't know where yours is. Marjorie, where's your thing to unmute on your
It's
screen?
in the middle. It's in the middle of my screen.
Where's yours, Sheila?
at the bottom. But she probably just got to go out and come back in because when I can't hear you, that's what I do.
Just go ahead and come back here.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Just trying to make sure where everybody else is. Y'all give us just a minute because she only be with us a minute. But I want to make sure you guys get to hear her. Yeah, I think she's going out and coming back in to see if that works. But she is our okay. I'll wait for her to come back in. She's our spoken word person. But I have somebody here that made a comment that we got to share because I like to. It said, Miss Tammy, growing up, I have always loved the love you and Mr. Chris showed each other. Ain't that sweet?
Can I? But look, before mine starts spinning again, can I
Go
just
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
what I was saying, I think before it spin out, but when I was growing up and before I got married, the women in my family, half of them was divorced and half of them was they had children, but they were not married. So getting married that young, in my head, I always had to fight. That's not going to happen to me or say it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because and not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for me in my house, that's
Right.
what I chose. That I'm gonna once I get married, I'm gonna stay married.
She the freezingest woman. Uh, but I get what she's saying, and Miss Sheila always on our polar opposites. I just came to the conclusion that uh, she did what I probably should have been doing, was saying this is not going to happen to me because all the women I knew were divorced,
Yeah.
including my mom. But so I just accepted the fact that again, men are no good, and that he gonna do something, baby, and we gonna end up getting divorced. And I just expected it. I just literally expected it to happen, which is why I said I came in the door redlining because I expected that to be a thing, and there was no one around me to be like, well, think positive, make sure you know, baby, we gonna make it last as long as we can, and then we gonna go about our business and I'll be good. And that is horrible. Please, if anybody listening, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. That's so bad. That is not good. But that was what I did. And Sheila's way is a much better way to come in with a different attitude. Like, I saw that. I don't like
Because
that.
that's all I saw. That's
Right.
divorced women in my family or women, that was not married at all, had not been married the first time or
Right.
divorced. So I just made that even before I got a Christian, I would always say, when I get married, I'm gonna stay married. And has that been easy? No, because I've had to
It ain't easy.
adjust. I mean, was so young, so really I didn't even
Can you can I hear you? You can hear me, abstract? Can I hear you?
Yes. Can y'all hear
Oh
me?
yeah, we
Okay.
in the house. Okay,
Okay.
so now we're gonna take our lovely pause and let her do her thing. Y'all sit back, relax, enjoy the moment. I just had to do it. I could not resist it. And yeah, we gonna enjoy this.
Hey, ladies, sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm back. I'm Abstract CIM. I am the spoken word artist for the evening. Thank y'all so much for having me. I love the way the conversation is flowing. I'm sorry I missed the beginning of it. I actually want to be a part now.
Oh.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of what my poetry is and what y'all about to hear ties directly into it. I feel like
Okay.
it's the first event that I've had that's directly tied into what all of my poetry is about. So
Okay.
I'm excited to be here.
Yes,
So I'm
ma'am.
gonna jump into an introduction if y'all don't mind.
Yes.
The best way I know how. So they call me abstract. I be that goddess spreading love through self-revealing. No bag lady, but I got healing when in my backpack mixed with a little bit of pro-black. Shouldn't have to add that with God on my side so I don't get sidetracked. They be like, yeah, she's small, but she got maximum impact. And they don't expect little pretty poets to have bars. So I had to backtrack. Allow me to reintroduce myself, y'all. They call me abstract, and I'm a work in progress. See, I've been building this momentum since the womb, so can't nobody stop it. See, you don't lose sleep over small things when you know that God be working stuff out like CrossFit. And yeah, I can talk because I know what it's like to feel exhausted. When you feeling like you had control over your life and then you lost it. So I started pulling energy
anger and truth into this poetry. It's my mental mosh pit. There's too much healing work out here to do to use this platform for gossip. It's an honor to be a female MC. There's power in your tongue, and I hold that to a high degree. Don't let your mind be a trash can, your thoughts. You should heed, align yourself whenever your head, heart, and actions don't agree. Align yourself whenever your head, heart, and actions don't agree. Let your emotions be your guide. Only you can define your own peace, and finding peace in every moment is the only way to be happy. See, by the age of 23, I thought I faced all my fears. I didn't know what else a girl could go through. I thought I cried out all my tears, but looking back, I can see that that's how God needed to teach me. And if I'm honest, I can be a little bit stubborn. So my heart's the quickest way he could reach me. He just be trying to show me that I need to start praying more and worrying less. And my mama happy to know my faith getting a little bit more ruthless. Penny for your thoughts. I got a few cents and a heart so pure that it must be heaven sent. Yeah, I love hard, but if you draining my energy quickly, I'm gonna have to chuck you to deuces. This world can get you real heated, y'all. So I let my poetry be my coolant. God created some of us to teach. That means somebody got to be the student. And I don't know why, but God continues to keep blessing me. When one door closes, another one always opens. Literally signed my first mortgage at 23. No, my parents gonna be so proud of me. So what I look like stressing over little boys when I'm out here buying property. I'm a prodigy. That means you can't take my light because it's inside of me. Oh, the irony, get hurt, then go harder. Because that's the God in me. But they be trying me all. And I deserve it. Because I be slipping away from my purpose. But that hurt be reminding me that even though these people be trying me, it's okay to forgive myself because I'm still finding me. And I know life be testing. And I know they still eyeing me, so I try to keep it gracious, but I got this roar, call me the Lion Queen. I be transforming my pain into beautiful art. Might as well call this poetry alchemy. Yeah, this black girl be magic with superpower like vulnerabilities. And all my poems got some form of intimacy, because I ain't afraid of y'all seeing into me one day. One day, God gonna bless me for my capacity to love my enemies and strangers like they some kin to me. So that's my introduction, y'all. Again, my name is Abstract CIM, spoken word artist and hip hop lyricist, but I'm gonna stick with the spoken word today, and I'm gonna keep this thing going. So this next piece is, I'm gonna get a little bit deep. You know, this is about women's empowerment when it comes to relationships, but I can't tell y'all how I get to the empowering messages unless I show y'all why I even got there in the first place. So we're going to get into that. You know, one of the lessons that I've repeatedly learned in relationships, and I continue to learn to this day, is to just prioritize myself and make sure I'm loving myself before I try to seek that love and that peace and that happiness within somebody else, because it'll never happen. You know, if you put too much faith into man, they will always let you down. Trust God first, then trust yourself, then trust other people, and in that order. So with that being said, this piece is one of my earlier pieces. I've grown and learned a lot more now, but this is called Changing Religions. My God, I praise you. From the depths of my soul, from my fingertips to my toes, I live for you, and I would be nothing without you, and I'll bow to my feet humbly to bless thee. Lord, you are my El Shaddai, Adonai, and Elohim. No, what you are is mistaken, because I'm not talking about the king. I'm talking about my last fling. His name was Tyrell, and he had me wrapped around his little finger. See, I made him my idol, y'all. For lack of a better term, he might as well have been my God. And our relationship was my religion. Our home was my temple. No, you were my Alpha and Omega. You were my beginning and my end. See, I placed no one else above you. You polluted my mind, and I fell into thinking that I was living on this earth to live for you. I studied the verses of your first mixtape more than I studied the ones in my own Bible. Couldn't even pull the jeans above my own ankles without feeling the need to ask you if I even look good enough to walk outside with. I tried to adhere to your direction as if I was merely one of your disciples. And every time you tried to leave me, I clung to you like 2 by 2. You ain't never even seen inseparable animals on Noah's Ark like this before. I mean, your harsh words, they meant more to me than the book of Revelation. And when you got mad at me, it was like the rapture in my head. I changed the way that I walked, the way that I talked, the way that I dressed, all for you. I told my family my deepest secrets, all because of you. You made me question my self-worth. My phone number will forever be in a suicide hotline database, all because of you. How did I look at you as my God? As I was staring at the demons inside of you. And I didn't start crawling back to my real God until I finally started running away from you. Now that I look back, my actions were telling you, baby, I praise you. From the depths of my soul, from my fingertips to my toes, I live for you. And I would be nothing without you. Sweetheart, anything good that I earn is because of you, and I'll bow to my feet humbly to bless thee. Honey, you are my El Shaddai, Adonai, and Elohim. But when I finally realized that we were poison for each other, when I finally realized that you were my apple and I was Eve, I had the nerve to turn around and still say, my God, what have you let happen to me? If I ever get the strength to speak to you again, I'll tell you, I hope you sleep well that night, knowing that you put more fear in me than God did. I hope I sleep well at night, knowing that I let you put more fear in me than God did. And I'll tell you that I'm still working on changing religions. Peace on that one, y'all. That's changing religions. That's changing religions. 1 second. I hope y'all enjoying it so far. I'm looking at the comments, trying not to get distracted, but I see y'all. I feel it. I appreciate the love. Thank you so much. So this last piece is pretty simple. It's a declaration. I've been through so many situations where, I saw what I didn't want for love. I did the things that I know I shouldn't probably do again. But what is it that you do expect out of love? What is it that you do declare you want for yourself? What do you want to manifest for your perfect relationship or ideal relationship? So I put it in a poem. And I said, if I were to ever fall in love, I'd aim for nothing less than next to perfection. I'd aim for fireworks and shooting stars and whole solar systems full of pure bliss. I'd aim for nothing they told me to settle for, and everything they told me was too hard to find, like being okay with me being in love with 2 people. But hold that thought though, rock with me, I'm going somewhere with it, making a point. See, if I were to ever fall in love, Cupid would ask for a raise on his commission. I'm talking head over heels type of love. I would be love sick, and they would be my prescription. There would be no boundaries to what we could do. There would be no restrictions as that endocrine runs through our systems. We have all the past love stories we've written. I'd fall in love with someone who knows exactly how many beauty marks I have on my face and knows exactly how to take care of me when I'm having a bad day. If I were to ever fall in love, I fall in love with someone who loves my long toes and believes they are just as elegant and classy as I am. Someone who kisses the scars that I hide and believes they are just as genuine as I am. If I were to ever fall in love, I'd fall in love with someone who values the way my being lights up when we take long walks at Centennial Park and have brunch outside on picnic tables in the afternoon more than they absolutely despise long walks at Centennial Park and having brunch outside on picnic tables in the afternoon, because I would do it for them too. See, if I were to ever fall in love, I fall in love with someone who tells me I'm gorgeous, even when I'm sick. Someone who tells me I'm sexy in my headscarf at night. Someone who stares into the reflection of my eyes so long that I want to punch them in theirs. Someone who aggravates me so much, I swear they got ADD. But for some reason, I still can't pry myself away from them and them away from me. If I were to ever fall in love, I fall in love with my knight in shining armor to sweep me off of my feet. Because there is no reason why girls shouldn't feel like queens, my queens. Know that you only deal with jokers because that's what you choose to deal with. And know that chivalry didn't die on us. It's only dead if we allow them to kill it. If I were to ever fall in love, they would tell me to fall in love with someone who doesn't tell me I'm gullible for believing in true love stories. Someone worth fighting for, but would never actually make me have to fight. Someone to push me to be my best while I stand beside them and keep them upright. If I were to ever fall in love, I'd make them wait. And no, I'm not talking about my sacred places and gentle graces. I mean, actually make them wait on my surpassing love. Because I'm still learning how to love myself. Because somewhere between the journey from my mom's stomach of heaven and hell on earth, this queen dropped her crown. And I'm not afraid to admit it. It took me forever to forgive myself. I didn't even want to reach back down to get it. But Sasset, you are beautiful. Get it. Sasset, your scars make you, you. Get it. Brittany, you are this close to those shooting stars. If I were to ever fall in love, they tell me to reach back down and get it. And they would tell me to love myself before I worry about trying to fall in love with anybody else. Hear me out. They tell me to love myself. Work on loving and liking yourself first before you worry about trying to be all in love with anybody else. And then, and only then, would they realize what I meant by it is okay for you to be in love with two people. That piece is all about just loving yourself first. It's okay to be in love with two people. Make sure that first person is you before you fall in love with anybody else, y'all. That's if I were to ever fall in love. I'm Abstract CIM. That's my time. Please follow more of my work. I have a lot more coming on the way. I have poetry, music, and album dropping this year. You can follow me on Instagram at Abstract CIM. Abstract CIM. CIM stands for complicated in meaning, to help you out. Thank y'all so much for having me. Thank you so much, Tammy.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm gonna bring them up so they can, because they was out here talking to you too, girl. Wait a minute. Just to give them a minute to, yeah. Oh, they doing your little snap.
Wow, that was
It was
awesome.
so
You
awesome.
Great.
did it at.
Good.
Hey,
We,
wait a minute, hold on. What you say, Abstract? You queens, you only deal with jokers because that's who you choose to deal with? What?
Yes, yes. And
Wow.
it didn't die on us. It's only dead if we allow them to kill it.
Woo!
Ain't dead.
Girl, you better say that. Yeah,
That was good.
I love it.
that was good.
That's
Thank
good.
you. I thought
Yes.
you guys would enjoy that. And she, it was tailored to what we're already talking about. Um, Hey girl, so they still talking. They said it was quiet for a minute, but now some of the other was chiming in now. But thank you. I appreciate you coming in and doing that for us. And we're gonna let you go, do whatever else you got to do. But thank you again. We appreciate it and love
I
you.
appreciate
Yes.
y'all. Have an amazing rest of your night. Peace and
All
blessings.
right.
You
All
too.
right. You too. Have a good
You
one.
too. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless y'all.
You know, one of the things that I heard as thinking about it, that she said something about loving yourself. And that was one of the things that I had in my head, is that you have to love yourself first, and you have to know that you are enough
Right.
all by yourself.
Right.
Because if you don't think that you are enough, you won't have anything to give him, and you won't have
Right.
anything to spill over into the
Right.
relationship. So first, if I had anything to impart to anybody that's not married, love yourself, as she said, and you are enough.
Right.
You are enough. You got it. You
Right.
got everything on the inside of you that it takes to be a wife, a lover, anything. It's already there. That's the way God made us. But you have to know it here. You have to know it here.
Right.
So you are enough, ladies. If you're not married, I'm rooting for
It's
you.
okay
You
if you
are
look
enough.
here.
And I mean, if you want to get married, it's okay if you don't. It's okay. And you
Whatever
know what?
you choose.
Whatever you choose,
Exactly.
it's okay. And it's okay. I mean,
It's
whatever
okay.
life
Whatever
you
you
want to live.
choose.
Yeah.
Whatever you choose. It was a part in that that made me think of you, Tam, when she said, you want to marry somebody that pushes me to do my best as I uphold you to do what you're doing. When you talked about the ministry and having a husband that is in ministry, and at the
Right.
same time, you want him pushing you. But as women, we are known for standing there and
Sure.
holding and anchoring, which is
Mm-hmm.
basically what it
Yes.
means is that we're anchoring, or upholding what they're doing because there's such a strength in us as women. I don't even want to get into that. That's a whole different topic for
Woo.
me.
Right.
But as she
Mm.
was saying it, I was like, oh yeah, that fit just perfect,
Right.
whatever. So I
Sheila
saw
all
you in
over
the house
that.
talking about, I
I
was
know.
on that, like, wait a minute, hold up.
That's so good.
So,
I
and it's
love it
okay
Right.
for
too.
you to love, and it's okay. No, we always talking about, love me, love, like we talk about the husband or the wife, you loving that one person, but when she said it's okay to love two people, him and you, okay?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
And it's easier for a woman to love and be that supportive because we're birthers and we have so much going on. We can birth this, we can birth this, we can birth the baby, we can birth a job, a vision, all that stuff. So it's easy for us to uphold the man or
Right,
whoever,
right,
our partner, whatever.
whatever,
But
right,
sometimes the scale don't always tip the same way because
right,
they're just
right,
one focus on
right, right,
themselves.
right.
Right.
Sometimes you get somebody like that, but you want somebody that's gonna
Woo.
Yes,
push you,
absolutely.
but never get to a point where you've arrived. There's always a pushing, and you should be able to do that for each other, like
Yeah.
whatever. So I often think of the conversations that I know we have in our house. They're always pushing us to that next space and that next place that we never become um
Complacent.
complacent at all.
Mhm.
It was something else I wanted to. I think all of us on here are in ministry some kind of sort of a kind of a way, as women, and as we talk about relationships and stuff like that, and how we're gonna flip into. We talked about with men, and how things, getting over the stigma of it. And I think the last thing Brittany said was some of us have married because we had to. And we know back in the day, yeah,
Mhm.
always growing, Michelle James. We gotta be always growing and moving. And I love my relationship because of that. There's always change, there's always shifting. Every now and then I'll do something off the wall and I'll look at Mr. Barton and say, that's never a dull moment, is. And he'd be like, no, ma'am, never. 30 something years, baby. It ain't been no door because you always channeling something, tuning into something. But saying that we have in the old, thinking about our generational differences that we said we would touch. I'm trying to look at my list to make sure I get to what I want to get you off here in time. But our generational differences that we have, and I know back further than me. So y'all ain't gonna put me back too far now. Here's some generations before me that we gonna talk about, and how it was common that if a woman got pregnant, you knew you were going to marry her. That was part of the thing back in the day. And sometimes you had to sacrifice and give up some stuff because you had to do what you had to do, take care of that child. And we've seen that a lot. And then you come to my generation, you see it some, but we start becoming more independent, as in what we can do for ourselves. And my biggest thing in our marriage was, even my husband would push this, was that, he worked and did all this stuff, but nobody, that's a whole nother story, not even going on there. But one of the other things that he will always say is that I want you in a place that if something were to ever happen to me, whether it be a natural disaster or we do end up getting divorced or we anything, I want you to be in a position where whether I'm here or not, you can take care of yourself and you can take care of our kids. And so he would push me and push me to finally, I did go back to school. I did do some things. I did get up and start doing, but that was always a thing for him that, while I'm in my right mind, I want you to take care of some things because things
Mhm.
happen
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
in life, and sometimes we don't want to talk about that, but I
Right.
think couples that were married for years, and you thought that the husband would always take care of them children, and then when they got divorced, that same Holy Ghost filled speaking in tongue preaching husband left, and he didn't pay a dime in child support. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
there
Right.
are times that crap happens that we just don't expect to happen, and so he was always pushing me to do something where that whether he was here or not, I could hold my own. And I think that's something that we should definitely always be looking for as we grow and as we move. And so when it came to my generation, I can't say everybody in this generation had that, but that was a thing. You know, what are you
Mhm.
going to do? Because you need to be able to handle your stuff. And
Yeah.
so it pushed me to do more that never left me, things I wanted to do anyway. And to now I think we're at a point where it's almost like, you know, I don't need you. I can do this. I don't need, whatever. And so there are times where money wise, no, I didn't need my husband from that aspect, but I wanted him. I wanted him around because there were things that we did together. And so I think between us on here now, me, Sheila, no, y'all ain't getting out there, Margie, and Erin ain't too far behind, but she enough behind. I'm gonna leave her alone. Um, that I think there's some differences between. I'm gonna leave you alone. You still in your 40s. I ain't gonna bother you too much. Enough difference between us that we can see a difference in our generations. I think, I know from the ones before me, but for us, I think I was talking to Brittany and I said that one of the things, who I lose Sheila, that one of the things I think is a difference between us is that for me, I look what made me draw a red line would be your character. If there were things about you that didn't align with what I was taught as far as biblically, that kind of stuff. Character mattered to me, and it still does. So were you a man of your word? Were you going to be true? Were you honorable? Those things did matter to me.
Yeah.
Versus now I see a lot of, and y'all can jump in on and defend your little generation if you want to, but now most I see is if he ain't got the material stuff, then we ain't got nothing to talk about. Is that a difference that y'all see, or I'm just out here floating by myself?
I don't think you're floating by yourself, and I mean, it is a generational thing, I guess. Black women are the most educated at this point. Like the last time they polled it, the most
Yes.
educated. I mean, it's a different day in that regard. But I think what we lose sight of is the same things that we needed in terms of support and in terms of relationships and what really matters. I don't really think that has changed. I think that people start saying stuff. Well, grandmama stayed in this marriage and, such and such stayed in this marriage. And a lot of times, some of the things that women were enduring was toxic and it was abusive and it was wrong,
Yeah.
Right.
and,
Right.
you know, I think now our tolerance for those type of things are low, but I think sometimes our generation overgeneralizes that to like everything.
Mhm.
And I think that social media plays a part in it. And as much as we want to say it's our kids that are affected by it, we have more access to people and their stuff and their information now than we ever had.
Right.
I didn't know when people went on vacation or when people did this or when people did that. And there's
Right.
a thing, like I went to lunch with one of my girlfriends and she was like, I just don't ever see that you go on vacation. I was like, well, I've been to California this year. I've been, a couple of places. I was like, I just don't post. I said, as much as I give myself, like, and I share a lot about my life, there's a lot about my life that people
Oh
have
yeah.
no idea. And I think in exposing like all that comparison and all of that stuff, I think it gets us, well, I want what her, like, look how her husband do her, or look how da 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 da, and you don't really know what works for you
That's
because you
right.
don't
Because you
really
don't know what kind of work I done put
even
in
know
over
you.
here.
Yes.
You don't
Right.
even. I know that when I get married, I'm gonna have to have somebody being okay that I'm out front. Now, a lot of men are attracted to the fact that I am and the stuff that I share and all this kind of stuff. But what that really means at home, you know what I'm saying? Like, are they really gonna be able to deal with that? And anything that's gonna make me, I've been in situations where people wanted me, they never verbalized that they wanted me to dumb myself down or they wanted me to not shine so bright or whatever the case. I've been in situations like that. But like people, whoever you with is really gonna have to be okay with who you are and the calling on
Mhm.
your life, what that really necessitates, because it's a lot.
Right.
It's a
Right.
lot. I mean,
Right.
Tim, like you were saying earlier, I know that that's a lot, especially because you are like so chill and a lot more laid back and not as out front per se. And this is kind of this marriage is kind of pulling you like more in that direction. But
Right.
um, like that's a lot
So
to
I think you
contend
have to
with.
be, yeah, yeah. I think you have to be, and you have to know your type personality and type person. I say all the time that I couldn't have just married anybody because I'm that person. So you got to be able to handle. Now, what I did have to learn, now y'all, now this just be truth sometimes, is that when I get home, I I'm a lot. Period. If you ask Brittany on the screen, they just think I'm a lot. Period.
Brittany, Brittany gets
Don't make me come through this screen.
I
Um, but Chris deals with that. Sheila, did you come back in? Okay. I
Yeah,
thought
I
you
mean,
froze on me. Okay. He deals with that, like you're saying, he deals with that really well. But I think that if we allow ourselves to the person that's supposed to be with us, they will be a person that can cope with that and that can deal with that. But unbeknownst of what a lot of people don't know is that Chris is very laid back, but he has a very strong personality. And so that kind of
yeah.
tapers me in place too. And then, like, Tam was saying, dealing with ministry. And then Margie husband is in ministry too. And so how do we deal with that as in, you know, I know we wear many hats, but sometimes we want to wear that same hat home that we wear out. And it just don't
right.
Mhm.
it just don't jive because at home, I want a whole man and I remember this one lady said she want a man that he gruff. She want a man got calluses. She want to know he a whole man. Like she want to know he a gruff. I don't need no calluses, but I need you to be able to hold your ground. Because if you don't hold your ground with me, we gonna have some because I can be out
Right.
there kind of far sometimes. So we gonna have some problems up in the house, whatever. So how do y'all bring the shut up? How do y'all deal with how do you all she just thinks she go, nah, you calm down. How do y'all deal with and I'm coming over here to Tam and Margie. How do you deal with the husbands that are in ministry as you even try to find yourself? Because quite honestly, as I begin to become more comfortable in speaking and engaging, that was a process for me because I was used to him on that side of the fence. You know what I'm saying? So for
Yes.
me to find that my place in that, it took some time because I was comfortable, and plus I had issues with in church, and so it took some time for me to own that. So how are you guys doing with owning that part of our life too? That he the man, and I'm sometimes feel like I'm just sitting here, but that you have purpose too.
Mhm.
Well, when we first got married, with my husband being a minister, I was always in the background, or at least I felt like I was always in the background. It was it was it was hard for me to open my mouth and speak up about things that like, to let him know that I have a voice, I have an opinion. It was difficult at first because I didn't feel like that's what I was supposed to do. It took a while for me to become comfortable enough to really open up, and speak basically about things that I had an opinion about, because I see him in the pulpit, he's preaching the word, and then we come home and it's like the I just didn't feel like it was right for me to, you know, um to be not in agreement, okay, so to speak, with everything. I felt
Right.
like I needed to agree on stuff, that I wasn't really in agreement with, because this is my husband and he's the head of my household, so I've got to go with this. But it wasn't until I really got to the point where I've got to get my own identity. I've got to know who I am in my marriage, that I became comfortable enough to speak up. And when I did, it changed the whole gamut of our relationship. We got closer,
Right.
because then I guess he realized that, yes, she does have a voice. She's gonna speak on it if she's not in agreement.
Right.
It was hard. It was
No,
hard because I didn't think I was supposed to do that. But when I
oh,
did, it changed the whole relationship.
and that's a different perspective for me now, because I was talking about me finding my place in the kingdom stuff. Because now I ain't had no problem telling him, but he better leave me alone. you better, Mickey, you better take a seat over there somewhere, like, whatever. But just finding my place, because I always had an outgoing personality. That wasn't a problem. But so, and I always very outspoken. That wasn't a problem. But just being comfortable in my role in the ministry and understanding that I had a lead role, because at that point, I wasn't leading women. I wasn't doing all the stuff that I do now. So having to come into my own in that wise. And as far as ego Margie, now, I ain't had no problems telling him now that I just don't agree with that. And we just going to disagree on that, baby, because I ain't getting down like that. Tam, go, girl, go.
Um, I can say when me and Amai were dating, people would say, that I may not be a good fit for him because, I'm more laid back, reserved, I guess you want to call it, standoffish. And for a long time, I felt like that word standoffish meant something bad, but I'm
Right.
learning now that that's not really always a bad thing,
Right.
because for Ahmad, not only is he a worship pastor, him and Aaron are in the group of my Island friends. He's a father. He's just all over the place. So as his wife, I typically I'm constantly praying for him. Like, I'm constantly keeping him uplifted, together, grounded, and all these things, because people see the outside of him, but they don't see what happens in our household. They don't see the things that we have to go through,
Exactly.
and they don't see the daily struggles. And even now that we've been married, almost 6 years, we're just now figuring out, okay,
Yeah.
the things that how he grew up and how I grew up, that's why you act the way you act, or you react to this situation. So we're just now getting to a place where we can learn how to maneuver through all those things to make it work for us. Not necessarily something that's going to work for you, but what's going to work for us. And so it can be difficult. Now God has placed us in a position to where we have more people that we're able to be relatable with. And so we're kind of having, we were at a point where we're able to build relationships with people who are going through the same things or may have been through the same things, so that we can kind of get some type of advice and encouragement to help us to kind of navigate through some things. Because when you are in ministry, you typically don't have the best of friendships, I would say, because you have to learn how to be careful and have that discernment as to who you can allow into your space, and who just keep kind of here, and who you can keep here. So
right. I think you said something very important, and we'll move on to whoever has something to say. But that and we say it all the time, that who we're connected to and the people that we have in our lives, who we surround ourselves with, it does matter. It definitely does matter. And sometimes we take that so lightly, like it's not a big deal. But I promise you, who you're allowing in, it makes all the difference. It makes all the difference in the world. And I say that from a perspective of not just married people, anybody. Like, if I'm single and I'm trying to find this person, or this is how I'm trying to be, or I want to carry myself, who I surround myself with, it literally does matter. I had a lady that was talking to me the other day, and she's going on and on about all these other people. And I'm like, You need to grow up. Like, you have chose to be around them. If that's not what you want, then you need to change your circle. And you have the ability. You have the ability to do that. And I think sometimes we don't realize that, or we don't accept the responsibility that goes along with us controlling our own circle. And you do have that is your responsibility to make that happen. I know that Sheila's situation is different. Her Matt have been married a long time, but I haven't always known of Matt to be in what we consider the typical church, whatever. Although Sheila was, that's a whole different environment. Although you have a husband that's doing everything he's supposed to do, you have no complaints. He is wonderful. But for a long time, if your husband was in the church with you, that was frowned upon. That you were in here and he ain't. I don't care how good he is.
Yeah.
He is the devil. And he is
but like that's real life, and it impacted sometimes how I looked at my daddy. And my daddy was the bomb. My dad was an excellent father. Period. I put any man against him to this day. But the way that is looked at, man, that's powerful. I mean, it takes your view.
I remember this lady growing up, Aaron, and we were in that church together and the circle together. And this woman said that everybody on here probably know her, said to me, "I'm going to find you a husband." And I was like, I have a husband. I have a husband. Just because he didn't go to church with me at that time, people thought that I wasn't married, but of course, you guys know I was, but I just thought, wow, just like what you said, just because he's not here with me in this building, he is a great father. He's a great provider. He loves God. Just because he chose not to come here with me doesn't mean that he's not a Christian. And some people judge you according to that, but honey, don't allow people to judge your home. Like Tam said, you got to work out your own soul salvation, the Bible says, but it got to work for you and your household. Because people will try to tell you, don't do this, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. I mean, if he don't come to church with you, what? No, I knew that I had to go home and cook him dinner. I knew that I had to go home and do what it took to be a wife, a good wife, not just a wife, but a good wife. So I just think as long as you got it together, you two got it together, then don't worry about anybody else. And that's where I've always lived. It don't matter about what anybody else say about my house, because I gotta live with my husband, he gotta live with me. And so if we're one, then we're good.
That's it.
Right. And if I can I just want to publicly say to Sheila, I have always admired that about you. Like, you and Pastor Lillian have always, to me, been such an epitome of like just fiery Holy Ghost filled women that did things according to what the Spirit of God told you to do, and you did not like crumble under, because the church is a strong organization. The peer pressure, and it's such a social club in a lot of different ways. Like, people may hear me say this as a worship leader and whatever the case, but I literally can see why people don't want to go to church. I can see why. About treatment, on how people are treated from day to day. And if I did not have like the strong foundation that I had in knowing like who God was, I could have easily left church, not a church, the church at any point in time. And we have to really be mindful of that. We are not, as an organization, church people are not emotionally intelligent across the board.
Right.
Wow.
They're not. Right. And the way that they treat people is like, and I say this, and I'm a part of the church, so I can say this, but just the simple treatment of people. A young 19-year-old girl pregnant out of wedlock, thought it was going to be something. It wasn't that. All of like those personal internal needs are what the church is supposed to be dealing with. But there are so many people that don't want to fool with it. So I will always say that, Sheila, Pastor Sheila, I appreciate your example, even in raising Courtney. I having one girl and just like knowing how to like just watch it. So I'm just appreciative. And of course to Miss Tammy and Chris
Gabrielle.
as well, just being such great examples to us. You know, they were my Bible study teachers, y'all. So
Wait a minute.
they were. I wanted to be in with Dexter and them. I wanted to be with them, but you know, I was too young at the time. But I would be eavesdropping. But you know,
But
but I
that's
am
the
thankful
thing
for you
that
guys.
is it, like you guys are talking about a stigma. Those are stigmas. You over here in church and he ain't. You know, you look at that. You know, we think we can make a judgment call on it. Marty's situation, you both of y'all, and then it ends up in divorce. You know what I'm saying? But we have life happening on our end too. And I
Right.
think sometimes we're not given the grace for that through the church, which is where you should come from. We're not getting that. Brittany, you had something on the tip of your tongue.
I was gonna say that all of this is real good. It's real good.
Real good.
When Tam said that, and I just want to go back to a time where on the outside looking in and looking at you all in a marriage, in the ministry, I see sometimes like, Tam, you just said that y'all are just now being able to relate to other people about, some of the things you're going through because of your image that you have to uphold, that you can't share everything with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
He's the worship pastor. He's also human, so he's allowed, and he is going to go through different things as well as you. But he can't tell them people that
That's
they're not gonna look at it like, well, we've been through this before, and we're gonna give you advice on how to get through it. But that's my number one thing with Gabrielle and Mr. Barton is that not only were they, in a ministry, taught the word, but they were real with it. You know what I'm saying? They were real with it. They
Very
gave,
real.
and that's one thing that I can take, as well as many things that I can take from them, because I know even if I was pregnant at 21, before, yeah, I was pregnant at 21. I was at a church with my second child. So she came at what, 22, 23. I was the youth leader, right? Youth leader. I got pregnant. I was kicked off. I get it. But I was kicked off in a way that was like, shame on you,
Right.
sinful. I don't care about this mistake. I don't care you didn't have nobody, coach you along the way. I don't care about none of that. You kicked off, made me feel, some type of way, whatever. I left the church. Before I left the church, I also would go to the altar. They said, lay your problems at the altar. I had a whole bunch of them, deal with abandonment issues, just stuff coming up that I didn't know how to deal with. A lot of stuff,
Right.
I was at the altar all the time. Oh, she at the altar again? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And I'm gonna be there. I can do that. If that's what I needed to do at the time, I'm gonna be at the altar every single time. Church people were the worst. At that time. And so, Aaron, for you to say that, I don't. It's not us. It's what tradition and what we have in our head of what church looks like. So when you take church out of it and put God in it,
Right.
along with real, then you have us.
Right.
This is what you get. And so in relationships, I take all of that and all of the things that, Gabrielle and Mr. Barr, I've seen, and they also told me. I take that along with the things that I know about myself. I've learned about myself, the different people or the type of people that I want in my kids' life. I bring all that into when I'm, looking for a relationship, and not just redlining in that sense, but when I'm looking for a relationship or whatever. And I mean, I know it's work. I know it's a lot of things out there, but I just wanted to say that's
Yeah.
good. All
Yeah.
of this is good.
Yeah.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
I just remember you guys, being young and saved, because that I was young then.
Yeah.
And you see this red lipstick on my lips today. Oh my God. We go to certain churches and I wore red lipstick back then. But it was just like, oh my God, they didn't think I was saved because I had red lips. You know what they call in their head. They didn't call it to me to my face. But baby, in their head, they was you
Right.
know, all that. But I was like, I didn't care. I was not gonna take my red lipstick off because I'm saved and I got Jesus. And honey, I don't care what you say about me because I'm gonna wear my lipstick and I've been wearing it for 40 years
Right.
now. So
Right.
I'm not taking it off. You got the problem. I don't have the problem.
Right. Right.
That's right.
And that's all that is so true. I think too, as we're talking about redlining, all these things have been a part of why we redline in the first place. Like why we put
Absolutely.
all these lines in the sand and say you can go this far and no further, and I'm done with you. If you cross this line, I'm walking out the door. I will never talk to you again. But
Yeah.
I have found you guys, and you all can say, and saved is not.
Ain't that the truth,
You gotta
Michelle?
put
My bad.
it show, I ain't know it ain't. I'm telling you right now, Michelle, it is not.
Right.
And everything, but even in all our relationships and stuff, and how we've drawn the lines in the sand, and we said that, I'll go this far with you and no further. And it's certain things that we say, and it's who we've caused ourselves to become. But I found that when you're in relationships, the not just the longer you're in, the quality of that relationship, sometimes things that you thought you couldn't endure, you end up enduring them as time goes on. Like because
Yes.
there's certain things Chris Barton had done to me at year 5 that might happen at year 20. We wouldn't be looking at each other right now, because at year 5 I was expecting us not to be. Tam, take that in now. I was expecting us not to be together anyway. So it
Yeah.
didn't happen at year 5, baby. God was gracious to us. So some
Right.
things didn't hit the fan until year 20. By that time, I'm like, you just crazy.
Right.
It's gonna be
Right.
all right. We got this. We got this.
Yeah.
We good. And so you learn and you grow up and you mature. So the
Yeah.
longer you can hang in there, if you're not being mistreated or any abused, any of those kind of things, hey baby, you hang in there, baby, get all good. And the minute it's like, it's just like
Yeah.
clockwork. That's how it
Yeah.
becomes. And so that's what I have loved about, marriage, period. And so, and we're gonna get ready to go out of here because we've already been on here an hour and a half, y'all. We've been talking. So,
It
and
was so
so
good though.
we're
It
gonna,
was.
we're gonna get out of here. But I wanted to say this before we did. We mainly talked about redlining in relationships with our male partners and what have you. But you all know now, y'all know that we redline each other too, as women, and we are bad about it because some experiences that we've experienced from our female parts. So we have learned how to redline women as well, and that's one of the things that I have been, I've been talking about now. If I was still dealing with them from my hurt place, I
Yeah.
would have treated her like this. But I think
Yeah.
part of that healing process that we go through as we learn ourselves, it helps us to deal with other people better. But if I'm dealing with you from a hurt place, I'm less tolerant with you because I ain't got time for it. I don't want to bother,
Yes.
mainly because I'm protecting my heart. I'm trying to protect myself. So I'm less tolerant because I'm hurt. To some degree, I may be still angry about some things. And so we have to learn, Miss Therapist is on here, how to heal ourselves. And when we do that, we become more understanding, we become more loving, and we become more tolerant of other people. And I'm not talking about being abused or none of that, mistreated from anybody. I'm just saying some things that we have redlined, even in relationship with one another, woman to woman. If we were in a healed place, if you stop and think about it, sometimes it wasn't even worth redlining over. So we've ended relationships that really probably sometimes shouldn't have been ended, but because we were hurt, we ended something that they did that was maybe small over something somebody else did that we felt was large, but it just looked like it was going to turn into the same thing. And we said, I'm out of here, deuces.
Yeah.
So I want us thinking about that too, as we begin to just kind of ponder over, why am I like that with my friend? Or why did I treat her that way when all she said was no? You know what I'm saying? Like, why did we have a fit about something so simple? And so we are also redlining each other in relation. And I know I did it with women for a long time. I had women around me. Women have always been around me, but I was not so quick to open the door to develop a relationship with them. And sometimes they thought we had one, but can I be honest? We did not. We did not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know how to be
No.
social, but we did not, and stuff. And so now I'm learning, and I'm saying currently learning how to open that door and not shut people off because of places I may have been hurt in, that God was sending people my way, but I turned them away because I was still in a hurt place. So sometimes we have to deal with our own places and spaces. And so I'm going to end myself on that. If you guys have anything you want to share real briefly, I'm going to get Tam out of here. I told her an hour and a half, and I'm trying to be fair, Tam, but they keep talking. And so I'm trying. But anybody else, Sheila, let's go.
Look, I got my finger up. Y'all see?
Yeah, yeah.
Look,
Look here. I recognize that finger too. Like, go,
yeah,
Sheila.
yeah. I just want to say this, and one pastor said this to me, and I have always took it to heart. And so maybe this will help you along the way too. And you know, when you're going through things and people, places and things can hold you in bondage. And but what she said to me was, girl, free your own self.
Free it.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
Free it.
mm.
That's
I like
good.
that.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yes, yes. She froze.
She froze.
Okay, we'll come back in a minute.
But it was so on point, and that expression
was.
was not even playing.
Well, her expression got stuck.
Oh, period. That's it.
Okay,
That's all.
anybody else? Anybody else?
I would just like to say Miss Tammy because I only know you as Miss Tammy. I don't know you as
Gabrielle.
Gabriella.
Really?
But I thank you for thinking enough of me and giving me this opportunity. This is something that I would have never
Yeah.
done. And it was wonderful. It was much needed. And just very, very honored.
Well, thank you for saying yes. You just kept coming to my mind. I was like, I'm going to ask her. I'm going to ask her. And so I do appreciate that. You don't know how many, and then you just never know where God is taking you. So I want you to hear that. You just never know where he's taking you. Yes, I supported Chris. I prayed. We had a church. We pastored. I said I didn't preach for like a year because I wanted people to hear the voice of a father in the ministry. And I took a seat. But in that, as time grew and I developed and I'm into because I had a heart for God, then he began to put me in place. So just hear that for yourself that you never know. You got to be open for what he's also doing for you. And that does not take away from how you support or what you do with your husband at all.
Right.
But that does not mean that he does not have something specifically for you.
That's right.
Right.
He's made me target you for a reason, baby. I just don't target people for nothing, okay? And look at the arrow like, yes, I'm telling you. So just hear that. I'm not saying go do anything. I'm just saying hear that and be open to what, he leads you to. Anybody else?
I'm putting my finger up like
Okay, I see.
Okay. If I can say anything, it would be to don't lose your voice.
Yeah.
You know who you are, as a woman, as a person.
Yeah.
Know your identity. Don't lose your voice no matter what. Speak up if something is not right, if you feel like something is not right. And approach your relationships, whether you're married, single, whatever. Approach your relationships like that. It wasn't until I got my voice back that I was comfortable with ministry, and I guess God allowed it to be that way so that when I speak boldly now. I don't have to be timid and shy anymore. I speak up, and I thank God for that. But I had to get my voice.
Yeah.
So don't lose your voice.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
Put my finger up too.
Okay, I got you. I got you. Good. Go, girl.
I'm gonna go out and say this to all you single people, ladies, men, whatever. What your next relationship or whoever you're searching for take you in the capacity that your true self is. Whatever capacity that you're in, because I'm a lot. I ain't as much as Gabrielle, but I'm a lot. So I need my person to take me as I am.
Yeah.
And work together as you are. So single people, don't diminish yourself, don't dumb down yourself, be yourself, know who you are, And be bold with it. Hey, Ski, that's my alter ego. Ski
Go
is
ahead,
bold.
Bree.
Ski is bold. So be bold, and your person will take you the way you are. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
I like it, girl.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Aaron, you didn't go. Go.
Oh, just I'm thankful for the opportunity. I love like women's anything. I remember women's aglow and following behind my mom and all of those things. And I grew up seeing healthy relationships among women. Like I used to tell people, my mom had 3 sisters, has one living sister, but she had 3. And I used to tell people I have 4 moms, and I used to see them like come together and just do fun stuff. I saw them come together when helping with my grandparents or just whatever the need might be. So situations like this, I just always love to be a part of because they're so empowering to me.
Yes.
And just always so just encouraging to let you know you're not alone. We faced a lot of the same stuff and, come out victorious. So I'm excited whenever I can connect, with awesome women. And I've been fortunate to have access to awesome women all my life, and I'm thankful for that. So everything that everybody shared here was so valuable tonight. I'm logging all of it in my my single and wife to be Rolodex, to
yes,
yes, in a hit moment. I'm like, what you say? And then I remember, okay, so
hey girls, as we say in Connector, we here for it all.
All of it.
I love
all of it. Because I'm sitting there as we're talking, and I got I wrote I got to write us some to keep us out because we're gonna be everywhere, But I think, but it all still came back into what we are trying to, look at and understand, like our redlining process, some of the things that have caused that, and just being honest about where we are. This is like I said, when we came on, my cup of tea stuff I absolutely love. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I thank each one of you for joining the forum. I know we could probably talk to him another hour, but we ain't. And
I'm good.
It's not gonna do that to you and everything. But I am so honored that you guys accepted, whatever. And then I feel like the last minute I wasn't doing enough advertising. I was like, they got to advertise too then because I'm hot, whatever. But I think everybody did a wonderful job. I absolutely love it. I absolutely appreciate all things, like I say, relational, whether it's women relationship. I got this man I've been married to all these years, or whether it's couples, just all that stuff matters to me. That's just who I am. And I'm enjoying, look here, I'm just enjoying the moment. Like this is like I got a t-shirt that say it's my time. I just feel like it's time, and I'm just going to enjoy all of it. And I would encourage anybody, grab life by the horns, hey baby, just ride that thing out and enjoy every bit of it. I'm telling you, because you can't go back and make up. You can't, so just live, honey, baby, please. Well, you're sick, you're married, you're divorced, you don't got married again, that man getting on your nerve, your best friend baby, just live your life in the way, make the best of it and enjoy everything that's out there for you to enjoy. But I appreciate you guys doing that. We had one last comment. It was saying great information and encouragement. Y'all, we might have to get our horns together and do it again one day. Just talk, sometimes it's just good just to have conversation, whatever.
Let me tell y'all one thing, lady. You know what? I was not asked to be on the panel. Let me tell y'all what had happened. I saw it on Facebook, and there go my picture just flipped up there. And I was like, what? And I got my phone and I was dialing. I said, wait a minute, excuse me. I just saw my picture flash up on this forum. And she was like, oh girl, you got it. I mean, you've been married for so long, you got it. And I was like, oh my God.
She have to get on here. I got to give a shout out, y'all. We got people still talking, but we had Brandon Stanberry, my good old, and Brittany's. She says great forum. I love Brandon. You know her too, Aaron, right? And and then allow yourself to continue evolving. And then Mary Kane says laugh out loud because Sheila just made that up. But
I did not. I would not tell a lie. No.
You got to put that in perspective. Like we do connect up together.
I would not lie on Gabrielle.
So she tells the truth. She tells the truth. That's what I did. I was like, well, I mentioned it. She was like, but you didn't ask me to do it. So I am again, I love it. I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all doing it. We're gonna have to get together again. I'm trying to get these ladies. I hate to leave people out. Thank you, ladies, for very informative information.
That's my friend. She said, this was good. I think she said great. Yeah, this was amazing. Hey,
DJ Edwards, we see you. She had another comment on here a while ago.
Yes,
Yes,
get ski.
Uh-huh.
That's what
yeah,
she said.
you
Get
ski.
ski.
So I saw that. And then Vanessa Cox, who I have not talked in forever. Hey, girl. Thank you, ladies. Very informative information. What a wonderful group of ladies. May you all continue to be blessed. And thanks for sharing. Yes. So again, huh?
Oh, that's it. I said, I'm gonna get a little picture of the screen.
everybody.
Okay, I'm gonna hold out while you get a picture then.
Okay.
Brittany
Wait
Barton.
a minute, Brittany.
Sorry, I was trying
Okay, I got it.
Oh, got it.
Did you get hers while it was black?
No, I got her.
Oh, okay. All right, you guys. Thank you. I love you. I'm gonna let our background
Love
play
you,
out
baby.
right quick. And so y'all can see yourself up there again when I did my little demo. Only person I don't have up there is Margie because I called her like in 10 minutes before and like, hey,
Mine was really last minute.
and she was like, got you, I'm on. I'm
You
like, oh my
did
God,
great,
thank you.
girl. You did.
You
great.
did.
Eric,
It was so
when I
good.
tell you I have some,
Thank
listen,
you.
It was so good.
when I tell you I have some wonderful women around me, like it has been amazing to come, you know, to feel like you're just kind of coming into your own now, you know, whatever. And I ain't old as Sheila, but I'm right there behind you. But to feel like that, you know, and to actually have those relationships where there is a love for one another and you want to see each other excel. Seriously, it's not about what we say on here or whatever. We are in the background. What you doing? You know, how, you know, we really are trying to get each other there. And so I am absolutely loving that and would wish that for anybody because it has just been amazing. But y'all hold on, I'm gonna let y'all see.
Tam got her.
Wait a minute. Tam got something to say, y'all.
What you got to say, Tam?
I would just like to say that Miss Daisy Jones on here, she has a radio station called Conversation with Daisy Jones. She does a lot of different conversations, and then also Miss Mary Kane has a women's group called Woman Arise, I believe. So I just wanted to kind of put that out.
Okay, I see Daisy Jones. She's on there. I don't see her on my end.
I don't know.
Well, she when she comments, I think hers pops up as a little Facebook
user.
Okay.
Okay, got you. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, because sometimes I can't unless they click that little thing. And sometimes even if you click it, I can't see it. But anyway, she says, thanks, Tam. So that is her. Yes, ma'am. You got that right. So yes. So it has been amazing having you guys on here. I want y'all to stay in the background on this because I want to see y'all faces when y'all see. I didn't get to see how y'all was paying attention to when I did my little.
Oh my goodness.
Thing. But to everybody else, thank you. We love you guys, and we look forward to possibly. Brenda, where you going?
I was taking a picture. Jesus.
Y'all hard-headed. But anyway, y'all will throw kisses to the people.
Thank
Love
you,
y'all.
guys.
Have a blessed day.
All right.